Build the best football team in the SEC Conference. We're going to build the best football program in the SEC Conference.
You have now arrived at Stadium and Gale.
The kick, it's been blocked again! How about it? It's been blocked again! It's going to heat one deep down the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone! It's a touchdown! And the Gators have won the game! Tyreek Cleveland! How about it? I can't believe what I just saw! Dropping back to throw. Pops and fires the ball over the middle. It's Dory! It's Dory! Got a touchdown! Dory got a touchdown! Oh, man! Dory's got a touchdown! Ahmad Black, in his final game as a Gator, takes it all the way home and sends Urban out the winner.
You have now arrived at Stadium and Gale.
Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Stadium and Gale. It's your favorite Uncle Silk.
It's Dan.
And Delatorre.
Same corner, same time. Fortunately, we after a W. How you guys feeling?
I'm good. Tennessee week. It's one of my favorite weeks of the year. I'm ready for it. Ready to be back in the 3-5-2 with my Stadium and Gale friends here and all my
Already.
fake internet friends.
Say Stadium and Gale girlfriends?
No, just Stadium and Gale friends.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see your confusion. I know we got a lot of groupies, Nick, but most of them are male.
That's nasty
nothing
work.
wrong with that, Dan. Nothing wrong with that. Hosting Dan in the Kapua Suite here.
Yep. Yeah,
Hotel
Brooke and I will be
Delatorre.
up Friday. Going to try to convince Nick to go to Salty and maybe swing over to Balls. It might be the last time I get the chance to go to Balls in my life. If the things keep trending construction wise in Gainesville.
Yeah, hopefully you don't go to balls anymore.
I got to bring my Balls hat. Might wear that. Man, there's just a lot of college revolved around balls,
Same.
Not had a different college experience to you, Dan.
Playing in the box, intramural safety, and then balls. Playing in the
All right,
box.
this show's off the rails early, man.
All
This
right.
is the intro.
All right. And
Do
and
your
the
parents
li-
still
and the
listen?
li- and the-
Shout out to
Do
my
your
mom
parents-
and dad. My
do your
dad's
parents-
birthday's next week. They're still listening.
Yeah,
and
shout
the
out to
live
Pops,
stream.
man.
Let's restart, refresh.
Right.
How's everybody's
delete,
weekend?
Delete all this.
How's everybody's weekend?
Super producer Cam, take this off the podcast.
Yeah, no, don't do it.
I had a good weekend. We got the dub. I got the dub in both aspects. My son team, they're 2-1 now. They're on a 2-game winning streak. So shout out to them boys. They got the dub. We got rained out on Saturday and had to play yesterday. So 2 W's. Just a whole lot of relaxation. I haven't been to the stadium yet, so we'll go down to Tennessee this coming weekend. But just vibed out. My Jags got to win 3-0. I went 3-0 this weekend. So shout out to that.
Probably the second best team in the state.
Yep.
Definitely first.
The Miami football Dolphins captivating the nation at 4:25.
Tell you what, Nick.
PM.
It's week 1. This is y'all vibe.
Yeah,
Week 1, y'all gonna captivate. Y'all gonna captivate everybody. Week 1. We know how the Dolphins do.
Captivating the country, possibly internationally, possibly an international
I can
crowd
see it.
tuning in for Los Miami Dolphins.
If it's in Miami, it's definitely international audience.
I'll be honest with you. I've been a Dolphins fan for 35 years. 34 years up to
Bad
this year,
times.
we would have lost that game.
Yeah.
Not this time. Best team. I mean, I don't like to overpromise and underdeliver, but the Dolphins are going to go 20-0 this year.
Yeah, you definitely over promising. We're gonna wait on that under delivering. It's gonna peek his head around the corner any day now.
Okay.
It will.
I know
It
a
will.
hater's voice when I hear one.
I have no reason to hate. I have the best, quarterback in all the land with Trevor Lawrence. It's only matters. We're just gonna keep getting better and better every week. And when at the end of the season, you guys are gonna be disappointed. I'm gonna be all right. That's how it always works. That's how it worked last year with you guys, man.
It's true. But the best part about being a Dolphins fan is that we're always used to being disappointed. So
Yeah.
can't surprise me, you know? I'm not going to catch this one on the chin, I want to give a quick shout out to the St. Pete or the Pinellas Gators Club. I watched the Gator game with our buddy Paul and his wife and probably 50, 60 Gator fans that were there. They're dealing with the Spectrum outage. So shout out to them for figuring out YouTube TV and all that kind of stuff. A lot of good folks there. Met Jeff Pope from FanGo Tickets there as well. So shout out to them and thanks for the warm welcome and for pushing the podcast to the Pinellas Gators Club. Sarah Stevens is the president. She's awesome. Big fan of the show. So appreciate her as well. Let's get into the show. But before we do that, we do have a question. We will all three be in Gainesville this weekend. So we will let you guys know where we'll be. We usually have a couple tailgates that we'll bounce around to, but we definitely want to let everybody know. So stay tuned to the Twitter timeline on Saturday about where we'll be, and we'd love to meet as many of you guys. In Silk, I think you're doing a vlog there, right?
Yeah, we doing the vlog, man. We hanging out a little bit. If you got a tailgate, hit us up. We just gonna be vibing around. I don't have any particular plans. My plan is just float around, run into as many Stadium and Gale fans, roll-up fans as possible. Go and check out balls or other establishments, kick it. I was hoping Cantina was going to be open. I could have went by there and hung out a little bit, but we just vibing through the city. It should be a packed one. Shouldn't be hard to find us. If you see, a luxurious gray salt and pepper beard, it's probably your uncle, man.
Thank you.
Pull up.
Thank you.
Oh,
you were.
Oh no, this is my beard.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you see a big head with a receding hairline, that's me. And then you'll see Nick. So we're easy to spot. I think super producer Cam is in the chat saying we all pulling up ? Cam, I think that's a question you have to ask yourself. If you're going to be there, then we're all going to be there. And I think Spencer from Spencer's Jerkin Jerky will be there with us as well. So a whole Stadium and Gale.
I forgot to give Cam a shout out. Ran into him in Utah. Big vibes. Always good to run into Cam.
Oh yeah. Cam's the life of the party.
Cam is the life of the party.
Bro, they wouldn't let me. We left the bar. They wouldn't let me Lime home. I was trying to ride around and get it on a Lime scooter. It was like 0.7 miles back to the hotel. I was feeling great. They shoved me into an Uber. It was like a hijacking. I felt like I was being kidnapped, but they dropped me off back at the hotel. A little less fun, I think, than the Lime scooter would have been.
Safer.
It was safe. Yeah, certainly safer.
I'm a big scooter fan. Big Lime and Bird fan.
Hard to have a bad time.
Are you riding passenger on the scooter or you driver?
I mean, listen, unless it's your wife, your girlfriend, your significant other, there's no reason for two people to be on a scooter. That being said, driving to the game on Saturday. Now I've seen the Pouncey twins share like a regular scooter, not one of like the Lime scooters, testing all physics and shocks. I saw 3 frat bros sharing one scooter on my way in. Suspect.
It gotta be 3 on one scooter.
That's
3 on one scooter.
Boys are gonna be rich one day. You talking about problem solvers right there. The boys got solutions.
Listen, there's so many other solutions.
3 on one scooter is elite in a crunch, bro. We got to get the class.
Oh, there was
you figure out a way to get 3 guys on a scooter. Like you're gonna be rich one day.
It's not hard.
I would have just walked. Like I meet y'all boys today.
Walk, Uber, Lime scooter, many other bus.
Yeah. Might be walking funny after that. All right. So I think
Dan's having a wild show.
Yeah. Cam said golf Friday. Cam, I don't know if I'll make it up in time. TBD. But if you're looking to play golf, Cam's playing golf. We'll see you all there. Let us know. Drop in the chat if you're going to be there. Like I said, we're going to bounce around to a number of different tailgates. We're going to start tailgating early. I know I'm going to start in the RV lot, swing over to see Annie. And then I know we're going to bounce around to a few others after that as well. Would love to see as many of you as possible when we see you. So let's get into the Gators game against McNeese State. But before we do that, Shout out to our friends over at the Gataverse. Go visit Gata, Gata verse, verse.io. If you're looking to support Florida Gator student athletes, you can get a signed Trevor Etienne card on the Gataverse. You can also get discounts to local restaurants and lodging when you do buy that in Gainesville, Florida. So go check out gataverse.io, support NIL initiatives at the University of Florida. And if you have any questions, let us know. But other than that, gataverse.io. Let's get into McNeese State. Gators win 49-7. Gentlemen, I know McNeese State is not a good football program. A lot of teams haven't played good football programs, but what were your thoughts on the game Saturday night?
We say this a lot, Dan. None of the players scheduled McNeese. Nobody on the coaching staff scheduled McNeese. You need to beat the teams you're supposed to beat the way you're supposed to beat them. And that's what Florida did. I think more than anything, I don't take much away from the game other than I think it's a palate cleanser. I lived through overtime at FAU, lived through Georgia Southern. Like, I've seen these games turn into nightmares. And Florida goes out, other than, a late score, should have pitched a shutout. That was an offensive turnover that turns into points. I think it's just a palate cleanser. Florida had lost 4 straight games. So, there was no club dub in the locker room, nothing really to feel good about after these games. So to me, palate cleanser, gain some confidence, get a bunch of young guys in the game, get them some experience, and not much to go over on the game film, I'm assuming. Turn your attention to Tennessee.
Right. Oh.
Yeah, similar vibes. Love that the young boys got to play. Opportunity to correct some things in the run game. It is, considering the competition is the competition, but I was concerned with the 7 and 3 carries last week. I didn't think Mertz needed a whole lot of work. After 44 passes week 1, we kind of know what he can do. Very stiff competition, I thought, last week. So I liked where his attempts was at, around 17. I would love to have him between 17 and 25. I don't think 17 is a number you can stand on in SEC play, but around 25 to 30 in SEC play if we run effectively. So I love to see that the run game featured all 3 guys. They kind of got their own series between Trayon Webb, Montrell Johnson, and Trevor Etienne. I thought Graham Mertz was accurate. He's throwing at almost 74% right now on the completion rate. He's at 526 yards total. I think he's playing really good football. He's played some stiff competition and some easy competition, but he's been in command. Like that, we got a deep shot down the field. I do want to see him work in some more receivers, and every quarterback has their favorite target. So I expect him to have somebody, and Ricky Pearsall being his favorite target. I'm not mad at that. I like what I saw to Eugene Wilson. Every time he touched the ball, he's super explosive. Want to see more of Aldis Bortenham. Jonathan Odom just doesn't look like he's all the way back. I know they're saying he's 100%, but it just doesn't look. He looks a little slow. So just happy with the output. Bryce Thornton surprised me. He got some good minutes. I think Jordan Castell led the team in snaps on the defensive side of the ball with 27. Love all the young boys. Jakeem Jackson needs to come down with that pick next time, but he's jumping routes, looking like a future, number 1 CB1 type guy. Just love all the young players playing. I think TJ Searcy deserves more minutes. He's special. I don't know who was doing the rankings and the stars and stuff, but he's a guy that can contribute and play right now. The thing I liked about this game, McNeese State is going to be a team that's going to play their starters damn near the whole game because they're fighting. So I saw their starters in. So when we bring our 2 deep in, 3 deep in, they're getting the same look as our ones. So you get to see, different players on different levels of the depth chart play the same competition, play the same offensive tackles, and you get to see who's more productive. I haven't looked at any PFF, but just looking at number 19, he's different. I think he needs more snaps earlier in the game. I think he can make a difference on the other side of the ball. His get off, his strength is next level for a true freshman. But overall, not a bad game. We got to figure out special teams. Another special teams blunder. Missed that. Had a whole incident with the extra point that should be automatic. every week is just something, man. Clean it up. I do like we only had 4 penalties for 20 yards. So the discipline was better this week at home, but that's how I can summarize it. Week 3 is the measuring stick for me.
Yeah, no, Silk.
Cersei's got an E grade on PFF. 5 tackles, half tackle for loss. I think you're just going to continue seeing him get more burn.
He's different.
Let's look at some of the PFF stuff. Like you said, Silk, Graham Mertz, they have him throwing 18 passes. I know the stat sheet said 17, but when blitzed, he was 5 of 7 for 61 yards, not blitzed, 9 of 11 for 132 yards. Sorry. Silk, you made a good point. Do want to see them stretch the field a little bit more. I tweeted about it, and that's when they had that 50-yard bomb to score a touchdown. Graham Mertz only threw 7 passes, beyond 10 yards. He completes 4 of those. So want to see a little bit more when it comes to first down throws or 10 plus yard throws. But so far, his numbers on the year are strong. almost 74%, 526 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. But again, I think that you saw the rushing attack, which was nowhere to be seen against Utah. They go for 327 yards, 6 total touchdowns, rushing the ball, including all of the running backs getting at least 1 touchdown. Trayon Webb gets 2. I think for all intents and purposes that you did exactly what you wanted to do. You had a walk-on, I believe, fumble there at the end. They had a short field. They go and score a touchdown to not pitch the shutout. Ultimately, the spread was 46. So if you had the Gators plus or minus 46, unfortunately, bad beat there at the end of the game. But winning 49-7 is what you want to do. I wrote them down. Silk, you've mentioned a lot of them. I thought Jakeem Jackson played really well. I thought Jordan Castell played really well. I thought Bryce Thornton played well. TJ Searcy played well. And I thought Shamar James, of course, continued to play really, really well. Want to still see a little bit more out of our defensive line. I know Princely got his first sack. I think it was in the 3rd quarter. Still not seeing the push that I think that they were expected to have this season when we talked about them before. But ultimately, that's probably still the biggest area of opportunity. I thought pass blocking did well. Run blocking was improved. But again, it's the competition that they were playing with. But you end the game. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Just the pad level of 99 needs to be better. I'm with you with the push. I just think it was tough this game because they got rid of the ball so quick to really gauge it. But I'm with you. I just think to get off, and I just seen the better get off from some of the younger guys. And I don't know if Cam Jackson is more suited for run than he is pass. And I would like to get his PFF numbers to see what the difference and how effective he is when teams drop back to pass. Because I would like to see a better get off as well. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I just want.
No, you're fine, and I can pull those up for you right now. On run plays, Cam Jackson, they graded him a 72 on run plays, and then in pass rush, they ranked him a 58.4. So didn't he only played? They only had 3 pass rush grades for Cam Jackson. So, again, it's a small sample size as a whole. But, definitely run defense was stronger for him in that game. Overall,
PFF has him rated 32nd of 37 guys who have played on the defense. But within a 1.2 points between pass and rush.
Yeah, and there just wasn't probably enough plays. The Gators were cycling out a lot of people, in the game, even early on in the game. So not a huge sample size there. If you go through PFF, they ranked the Gators an 80.8 overall on offense. Pass blocking got an 88.4. That was their highest position group or position rating. On defense, they gave him an 80.4. Offense was a 71.5 overall. Defense was an 80.4 overall. Rush defense was the highest with 84.9, and then coverage not far behind at 81.5. I thought Coverage was strong. Silk, you mentioned that play with Jakeem Jackson. It didn't even look like he was trying to intercept it. But I think next time he goes for that interception, I think he had an extra step in him. But a great pass breakup there.
My JUCO coach, I was playing JUCO ball, and I did something similar, right? So I come across on a post route. I knocked the ball down, and back then it was the throat slit. That was the thing in my old days. It's banned now. I do this. I come to the sideline, got the field. My coach said, "I can get anybody to knock the ball down, son. Like catch that. I need you to come down with the ball." And that always stuck with me. Anybody can knock it down, bro. You're in a position because you're super athletic, you're super instinctful. Grab that ball, be a ball hawk. Think that you're on offense. He gonna snag that next time.
Mm-hmm. PFF top 10 defensive players: Jakeem Jackson, Shamar James, Jamari Lyons, TJ Searcy, Jalen Kimber, Cam Jackson, Justin Pellick, Miguel Mitchell, Jack Pyburn, and Jaden Robinson round out the top 10. Nick, you mentioned Jordan Castell gets the most snaps, Jason Marshall, then Miguel Mitchell, then Jalen Kimber and Manny Nunnery round out the top 5.
Yeah, and I think Jordan Castell, the only player on defense that has played more snaps than him is Jason Marshall. And there's really no need to take Jason Marshall off the field unless he's tapping his helmet and needs to sit.
You guys surprised Kamari Wilson hasn't played as much this year?
No.
Okay.
No, I think we all kind of talked about it. He had a spark during camp, and then we were saying maybe we were wrong, but I think it's kind of playing out the way we've all been, hearing throughout the offseason a little bit. Shout out to Jaden Hill, who played a good game considering the competition, but I thought he played a good game at the star position and was in position. I thought he made some tackles behind the line of scrimmage, made some plays in the passing game. So he was super effective, I thought, this week.
Miguel Mitchell, Jakeem Jackson was number 1 overall in coverage for the defense. Miguel Mitchell, number 2, Jaden Hill, 3, and Jalen Kimber, 4. So overall, great game by the defensive backs there.
Jaden Hill graded out better against McNeese than Utah, which gives credence to Dan's life motto: as the season goes, as Jaden Hill goes.
Things that,
what it is, I thought we wasn't gonna do that. You can't do that 2 years in a row. You got to change.
Can't help myself.
If you are watching,
I'm gonna help you help yourself. We're not gonna do that.
Smash that like button. Appreciate that. Fragrance Journey. So that's where we're at on defense. Let's break down offense a little bit more from PFF. Just give me 1 second here. Offense. Top 10 players on offense: Montrell Johnson, Ricky Pearsall, Taylor Spirito, Trevor Etienne, Eugene Wilson, Damian George. Big improvement from him. Najee Harris, Graham Mertz, Aiden Mizell, and then Christian Williams, who is a left guard. On offense, Eugene Wilson again put the ball in his hands, and he's going to make some big plays there. Graham Mertz plays the most snaps on offense, then Ricky Pearsall, then Jake Slaughter, Richie Leonard, Caleb Douglas, Eugene Wilson, Damian George, Najee Harris. Lindell Hudson gets a bunch of snaps there at left tackle, and then Hayden Hansen gets 40 snaps himself at tight end.
Yeah. Any offensive thoughts? No, I like we got to see Max Brown play a little bit. He connected with Aiden Mizell on a fairly decent route. I was thinking it was like 20-something yards, something like that. So I'm glad that we got to see more guys. I spoke about the efficiency of Graham Mertz. He's playing better than I think most people gave him credit for all summer. He was going to be a terrible football player. So he's efficient. Offense is efficient. I think the real measuring stick is this week. We'll see where we at with it. The run game can do what it could do in the swamp with a crowd playing ahead. This team is going to be a little different with that defense. You got the home field. So I would like to see us jump out. Getting a little bit ahead of myself talking Tennessee, but that's the real measuring stick for me right now to see where the offense is at. I
saw you tweet that people were talking. Am I lumped into that? I don't think I've been a Mertz hater. I was just I was talking. I said trashing his name. There's a difference in
being critical. You know, that's rational to be say, I don't know, this guy wasn't the best at Wisconsin. I'm not expecting a whole lot of him coming to Gainesville. That's rational. But it was some people out there just waking up every morning mad at Billy Napier for bringing in Graham Mertz and just dragging this kid's name. I think it's unhealthy fanism. Like, to be real with you, like, this is a whole person. Okay, if you disagree with the kid coming over or the take, that's all cool. You get your take off, but every day the slanderous stuff, people making jokes and memes about the kid every single day, it was over the top. And now the kid, like, he could play ball a little bit, man. I like him. I'm just gonna keep it a bean. I want to see the kids succeed. I like what I saw so far. I'm not gonna fluff anything. He got some moxie about himself. He put his body on the line. He looks in command of the huddle. He's a tough kid, bro. And I like his mindset. I like the way he's built. He's a leader. So I'm rocking with him. But the slander this kid got all season was insane. Some of y'all got to get a grip.
Yeah.
I think
there was like a GIF that was popular right after he signed, and it's of him in Wisconsin, and it's like flashes Graham Mertz is not good. I think he's proven a lot of haters wrong. I think he's doing as much, if not more, than we expected out of him so far 2 games into the season. I like his energy. I like his enthusiasm. I like his engagement on the sideline too. He's around his team all the time. He's not standing off by himself. So those are things that you want and see out of a leader, and you want that out of your quarterback position with the group, trying to get coached up, trying to get better.
Amen.
So everything that you've seen out of Graham Mertz so far, I've been more than impressed by. Is he going to win the Heisman Trophy? No, probably not. Is he going to be a top 2 or 3 round draft pick at quarterback? I don't know. But right now, what we thought Graham Mertz might be, and all the slander that he got about how many quarterbacks that Billy Napier looked at and everything else before they finally settled on Graham Mertz, I think you have to pause all of those harsh takes that you had and say, hey, this guy's doing what we've asked him to do. The one turnover he has, maybe a miscommunication on a route, Ricky Pearsall goes right through his hands. Other than that, I think that he's done just about anything that you want out of him and more. Would like to see some more downfield passing, but this is what we have so far, and they're moving the football. I think that the Gators scored on every drive all the way up until the fumble, right, Nick?
Scored in their first 7.
First 7 drives.
First 7 drives of the game. I
still don't like the pace, I would say. Like, I like that we were scoring, but sometimes, like, I don't know. Like, it's just the pace, I think, is a little off. The feel of the game, like we was going to impose our will on that team regardless. We were productive, we were efficient, but I don't know. It seems like we're missing some sauce there. And I want to monitor it throughout the season, but there is some chemistry that a good play caller has, to set things up, and I'm not seeing that part of the game, and we'll let it all play out. We got Tennessee a big week. Hypo is one of those guys that can coach. I don't know if he has a quarterback to execute, but I'm not seeing that part of the play calling,
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to see
ranks,
this
Hold on
week.
one second, Nick. Nick, Florida ranks 15th in the in FBS in time of possession. Definitely don't rank up there on a number of offensive plays, though.
I don't think that you'll see it this week, just with the rate at which Tennessee operates and moves on offense. I don't know that you want to, hey, we need to try to match that. That's not your game. I don't think you try to go outside of your box, outside of your lane, and try to match Tennessee. And you might just say, hey, we might need to slow it down on offense just to get our defense a break. Because, like, Tennessee is no pit stop, gas tanks full, 100 miles an hour. They're trying to run, 150 plays a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got to dial that back with Big Joe. All day there be some fast 3 and outs, bro. I think they're gonna have to slow it down a little bit with Joe. His accuracy and moving and chains isn't as good as what they had last year. So I hope they come out there real fast and give us 2 quick 3 and outs type. That'd be perfect. But I'm with you with the pace wise. We can't try to go. I just think it's moments in the game where you can, and being able to pick your spots, and that's. I think the feel for football and the feel for being an elite play caller isn't analytical. I think it's a talent and it's a feel for the game, And I think most of the stuff we're doing is ran off of analytics, and that's just my take right now. I don't want to keep harping on OCs every week of the season because we're not going to get an OC. I think that's just terrible communication and media from my standpoint. I got a take on it. I think we need to change something with the play call and the OC, but for us to complain about it every week on Twitter every day, it's like the Graham Mertz thing. Like asking for something that's not going to change from week to week is just a waste of time. But I do want to see some different chemistry from that. So I don't know if it's a passing game coordinator or what it may be.
Yeah. So looking back, Gators again do win 49-17 game, or 49-7. Pardon me. Game does look overall strong for the Gators. They move the ball at will. Do want to point out something else as well. Obviously, this was a major Achilles heels for the Florida Gators last year. Gators allowed almost 50% on third down last year. It was, I think, the worst or second to worst in the FBS as a whole last season. Right now, the Gators, let me just get the exact number here. Sorry, I had it and then got off of that screen. The Gators right now rank 7th in the country, allowing just 5 of 23 on conversions for 21.74%. So a drastic improvement for the Gators overall. And then if you're looking at total defense, the Gators rank as the number 30 overall defense in the country, just behind Air Force and Memphis. So again, you play who's on your schedule and you beat the teams the way you're supposed to beat them. But right now you got to give Austin Armstrong some flowers 2 games into the season that the Gators right now had the number 3 defense in the country.
Yeah, big week for him versus Heupel.
Mm-hmm.
If he could, dial up some stuff, we're gonna need pressure on Milton. Hopefully we can get home with the front 4, but if not, we gotta put pressure on them. We at home, and I expect that. So I'm ready to see what Austin Armstrong looks like versus, one of the top play callers I think in college football right now, and Heupel and his crew. So we'll see what's up.
Absolutely. 2 other notes that we do want to mention before we get out of here. Defensive back Jaddarius Perkins has announced that he will be transferring after the season is over. His former number 27 is now Dijon Johnson's number. Makes a switch from 26. I don't even
know if they washed the jersey.
Yeah, they just took the nameplate right off and gave him that. Yeah, so he's gone. And then Dakota Mitchell, another defensive back, redshirt sophomore, I believe, has announced that he's going to be medically retiring from the University of Florida. He did say that he's going to get his degree from UF as well, which is smart because we want to give the Wall Street Journal a shout out for ranking UF as the number 1 public school in the country. So shout out to the University of Florida. With that, we do have Trey Wallace from Outkick joining the show to talk to us a little bit about Tennessee, but give a quick shout out to our friends over at Home Field Apparel. Go visit them, homefieldapparel.com. Use promo code Stadium and Gale at checkout. You will get 15% off of your order when you do so. Again, stadiumandgale.com homefieldapparel.com promo code Stadium and Gale. Trey, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm good. Crazy weekend in Tuscaloosa with Texas and Alabama, but excited for another wild week of college football.
Not a great week of college football. This is one of our marquee matchups this week. I know somebody asked in the group chat or in the chat here if game day was going to be in Gainesville. They will not be. They will be heading to Colorado for that game to go see the Colorado State game. But Trey, I know that you're a little bit short on time today. So give us what we should know about Tennessee this week.
Yeah, look, it's going to be first off, I'll never pick Tennessee to beat Florida in Gainesville until they actually prove to me they can beat Florida in Gainesville.
They find really interesting ways to lose that game in Gainesville over the last nearly 20 years.
They have. It was the Felipe game, and then it was
Felipe,
the Greer
Tyree,
Greer.
Big Ben, Jill, Train, something like that. Jim McElwain dialed up something. Antonio Callaway gets loose. Just a bunch of face-planted Tennessee coaches on the sideline.
Yeah, man.
It's such a hated rivalry between both fan bases, and the players on the squad, they're all recruited by the same coaches. And this week, Tennessee, I was watching them from the press box. I had them on my iPad pulled up, and they're playing Austin Peay, and they looked like a team that was on Austin Peay's level. They just didn't take them seriously at all, and Austin Peay made them pay for it. I mean, that was a 10-point game in the fourth quarter. But look, this is going to be a different matchup because you've got a guy like Joe Milton who's still trying. Look, he's got a hell of an arm. But after watching it Saturday, going back, he's still trying to figure out the accuracy part. The best thing for him, in a sense, is that he has worked with these receivers for the last 2 years. The receivers that you're seeing now for Tennessee have been on the second string for the last 2 years. So the connection is there. When you look at something that I think Tennessee could take advantage of Florida, it's the three-headed monster at running back with Jabari Small, Jalen Wright, and you got Dylan Sampson. Those guys are quick. They're powerful. They can get up the middle. And if Cooper Mays plays this weekend, Tennessee's center, who's been out for the last month because of the surgery, a small surgery, if he can play this weekend, which I think he's given it a go, he dressed against Austin Peay. I think he plays against Florida. Then that changes the offensive lineup for Tennessee, where they're in a more comfortable spot now with their starting center. They can move a guy like Ollie Lane, over the left tackle if needed. But man, look, Tennessee's going to try to go fast. In the last time Josh Heupel was in Gainesville, it was a wake-up call for him. He took his veteran wide receivers. You all guys remember that. He missed a wide-open Jimmy Callaway. You probably don't remember the player. But he missed Hendon Hooker missed a player down the sideline. The wide receivers are all right attack. But that was the turning point game for Josh Heupel, that loss in Gainesville, because he took his three veteran wide receivers outside the bus and said, hey, look, we're going with you now for the rest of the season. This is all on you. We're not giving any more tryouts to players. This is on you. What they do, they go beat Missouri by 61 points, and you've seen what kind of success they've had since then. Saturday's a different animal. I mean, look, there are ways that Florida's offense could take advantage of Tennessee at the linebacker position without Keenan Pill. Tennessee lost its starting linebacker to a tricep injury. And I'm very curious to see, guys, how they're able to – after watching Florida, they do a lot of the backfield stuff, a lot of the swing passes, a lot of the dip downs. I'm very interested to see how Tennessee tries to control that. That's what stands out to me.
It's I covering Florida for a while. I saw Joe Milton as a junior in high school, Friday Night Lights. I saw him at Michigan. I saw him at Tennessee before he lost his starting job. He did he watched Anthony Richardson in the offseason, goes, man, all I have to do is like plant my feet and throw a ball 80 yards in the air. And they're going to start talking to me about like a dark horse Heisman. So like,
you got to flip too.
That's just a Florida thing. And Anthony Richardson, we do claim him in South Florida, was born in Miami. That's a South Florida thing. So that's just a natural. That's like leaving church. Got to flip down the steps, ready to go.
Yeah, Milton's from Pahokee, so he had to flip, ready to go. So first round is on deck, Trey.
Like, am I wrong in thinking like he's 23 years old? He's been in college as long as I have.
Yep.
What makes him different? I think I know who Joe Milton is. He's not Hendon Hooker. Now, I do give Josh Heupel a lot of credit, and I said before the year, if Joe Milton has that kind of season, then give Josh Heupel an extension, because like he is then just a quarterback whisperer, and the offense works. But like I don't see Joe Milton getting appreciably better in the accuracy department in his fifth or sixth year of college.
Here's what makes Joe Milton different. He's not going to be a Hendon Hooker, so people out there don't try to compare him to Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker was special. Joe Milton can be special, but the biggest thing that he had going for him, Nick, is that he's had 2 years now to sit behind Hendon Hooker and learn, first off, and then learn the offense. Get that down pat. That Josh Heupel offense is difficult to understand. The checks, the reads, everything you put into it. I think Joe Milton, he understands what he's supposed to do when he gets to the line of scrimmage. I can't say that he had that at Michigan. I can't say that he had that in his first 2 games at Tennessee 2 years ago. I think now he understands what he has to do. He understands if Squirrel White is giving him the signal on the far right, side saying, hey, look, I can beat this guy on one-on-one. Okay, let's check off and go there. And that's the biggest thing to me. And it's also the running ability. Joe Milton was, yes, he showed flashes at times that he can run the football, but they're now letting him scramble outside the pocket, which I think is key for Tennessee's offense. They cannot have him just sitting in the pocket and trying to make plays. It's not going to work. Florida will suffocate Joe Milton on Saturday if he just sits in the pocket. I think, overall, Joe Milton can be a guy that could lead the SEC in passing in yards. Okay. But I think what will potentially hold him back, it's not his fault, is that Tennessee really is going to try to offset this thing with a running game. When in the past, they really didn't have that. Even with Hendon Hooker, look how many times Hendon Hooker ran the football last year. They didn't trust. Jabari Small was hurt all last season with a shoulder injury. Jalen Wright was banged up at times. So now they actually have a running game, so you're not going to see as much, passing from Joe Milton in a sense of 40 attempts a game or something along those lines. So that's where if you're Florida, you got to take advantage of Tennessee. You stop their running game. You make Joe Milton have to throw the football in front of 90,000 fans on a Saturday night in Gainesville, and you make him uncomfortable. And if he gets so uncomfortable that things go bad, do we start to see Nico over the next 2 or 3 weeks? A lot goes into this game Saturday night.
Trey, what outside of physical capabilities that Joe Milton has Tennessee fans, and I'm not saying that you are convinced this way, has Tennessee fans convinced that he could be a Hendon Hooker? Is it because he's athletic, can run the ball, has a powerful arm? Because I've seen 6 years worth of Joe Milton stats, and Florida was recruiting him, and there was a big part of our fan base that wanted him 7 years ago, right? So over time, I just don't know.
I laid that high.
Yeah,
that was my high.
There you go, Corey.
So I've got two questions.
I seen the vision before he got 4 stars. I was like, I went to a random camp. I was like, this kid's got a fucking cannon, man. Like, who is this kid? And it was like Joe Milton. He's from Orlando, and I found out he's from Pahokee, so I had to jump on the bandwagon. I was trying to give him to Florida, and it didn't work out.
That's what Silk does. So I've got that question. A follow-up question is, what's convincing Tennessee fans, or is it kind of blind faith that because he has that skill set that he could do it? And then my second question is netting things out. Obviously, Tennessee had great wide receivers last year. They lose a number of them to the NFL in graduation. And then I know that you said that the running game has improved. How does that net out from last year's Tennessee offense with an improved running game, decreased wide receiver production, and all of that? Those are my questions.
Well, real quick, I don't know that Tennessee fans are sold on Joe Milton, especially when you've got Nico.
Well, they
sitting
were
in the range.
See, and they are like, they're sold on Joe Milton because Josh Heupel is sold on Joe Milton. Ooh. They trust Josh Heupel. They saw what Josh Heupel did with Hendon Hooker over 2 seasons, and Tennessee fans are like, well, wait a minute. If he can do that with Hendon Hooker for 2 years, and he's had Joe Milton in his QB room and meeting every single day and learning and all that, that's where they trust Joe Milton. It's not – look, I was talking to a couple people inside the building. It's like, okay, yeah, he overthrew some passes on Saturday. He wasn't really calm in certain circumstances. But the thing that gives Tennessee fans, in my opinion, a piece of chill out is that Josh Heupel is the one that trusts him to do this. If Josh Heupel didn't, probably would have gone out and got themselves another quarterback in the transfer portal, but they didn't. They trusted Joe Milton to do it. So I just look at it as 2 years of culmination getting to this point. But there's also something that stands behind that. Josh Heupel's not going to let this season go to hell in a handbasket if he thinks he can give his backup quarterback a shot at this thing, and all of a sudden, Nico plays and he's decent, but he's getting better over time. You don't want to, but then on the flip side of that, and this is just a very honest opinion, the first time Josh Heupel yanks Joe Milton from a game, that is it for Joe Milton. There's no coming back from that. So that's why you're going to see him have a very, very long leash when it comes to being on that field. He stuck around the program for 2 years. He was a starter 2.5 years ago. He hasn't, he's learned everything Josh Heupel can. He's been, like a son figure to him. But knowing that, okay, if you take him out, it's all about Nico. And Tennessee fans will just dive into that phenomenon that is Nico, and then they'll turn their back on Joe. Not in a mean way, but they'll say, well, wait a minute, if Heupel's doing this, then we got to roll with it. That's the biggest thing that stands out to me, too, about Milton. And then when you look at it from the net, I mean, look, when you lose Jalen Hyatt, who was playing last night for the Giants, who looked like absolute shit, not him, but the Giants did. And then you've got Ced Tillman that's out there playing for the Browns this season. He's going to be a factor. And your returning guy, Velus Jones was there. He's with the Bears now. Your returning guy, is Brew McCoy, the USC transfer, who looked solid last year. You got a guy like Squirrel White, who's a speedster. I think everybody saw him in the Orange Bowl game, make a couple of great plays. And you got a guy like Ramel Keaton, who feels like he's been around Knoxville for 8 years. And he's somebody reliable that Joe Milton can count on. I think when you try to weigh out the difference between last year and this year is that, again, I go back to it. It's like the offensive line might not be as good as last season, but they do have the running backs to be able to offset what the passing did last year. Like, it's not going to be a ground and pound from Tennessee, but it does set you up very nicely to be able to throw the play action in there. I promise you, in the first 5 plays of the game, Tennessee's probably going to test Florida twice downfield. And I'm very interested to see if there's separation on that outside. Look, it's a complicated matchup because there's so many unknowns. There's unknowns for Tennessee. There's unknowns for Florida. Tennessee's going to try to just bulldoze Graham Mertz on Saturday. Put as much pressure as they can on him, force him to make mistakes inside the pocket and outside the pocket, and get him on the run. The Tennessee does have some experienced secondary players and linebackers to be able to get up and get pressure. But one of the biggest things to me is that can Tennessee go turnover free? If they go down there and they put the ball on the ground 2 or 3 times, Florida's going to win the football game. If they can prevent that, then I think Tennessee has a shot. Again, not predicting Tennessee to win. I'm actually just going to go ahead and predict Florida to win right now. I don't even care about how many points, just because Tennessee hasn't proved they can do it.
Don't do that, Trey.
You heard it here first. Trey Wallace of Outkick says Florida 65, Tennessee 0.
Tennessee's only beaten Florida 5 times ever in Gainesville?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's bad. Like, you got Tennessee fans who will not travel to Florida, not because of the fans or not because of the heated remarks that they might receive in a tailgate. They just know, damn, they go to Florida, there's probably a good chance you're losing that football game by something crazy ass happening.
Yeah, wasting that bread. What's your opinion on the Florida Gator offense so far, Trey?
Yeah, I mean, I've texted Nick a couple times about this, and I feel like they got too one-dimensional in a sense against Utah with the way that they were. Graham Mertz gets in trouble. What's the first thing you do? He throws a bubble screen. He gets outside the pocket. You're running a 5-7 yard out. To me, they got to open it up a little bit more, man. They've got to be able, Corey, to 20-yard outs. Make the secondary get tested. Now, look, I'm going to go back and watch some film of their game this past weekend. I was caught up doing another game, but going off that Utah game, and I know it's one game, but I look at Graham Mertz and I think, okay, this is the same quarterback that we saw at Wisconsin, but he's in a different formation. He's got more room to be better. I give Florida credit for that. Throwing him in shotgun. Now and then you're running a read option with Graham Mertz and whatnot. But then, you got the Florida receivers have got to find him space. And if they can do that, I think they can against the Tennessee secondary, then that gives them the opportunity, gives him the opportunity to be successful. But, my biggest concern is if Tennessee brings 6 and gets after Mertz, what kind of mistake is he going to make? Because Tennessee is faster on defense than they were in the past. Now, Tennessee does not have, I like to call it, an FU player. A guy that when he gets off the bus, that son bitch is going to be tough all game long. Right. They don't have that right now along the defensive line. That's what kind of worries me. They got off the edge, they'll be fine, but just straight up the middle defensive line, no. So it's Graham Mertz can have success against Tennessee, but he's going to have to be a hell of a lot better than what I've seen to win in the SEC, which you guys all know that.
No doubt.
It's interesting to me when you mentioned that about the receivers getting separation. I don't know that we've seen that from Florida in a good way this year, and I don't think we saw it for the 4 years that Billy Gonzalez was coaching receivers for Dan Mullen. And I think Billy's a great coach. You look at how many guys he's put in the league, but that's been an issue, I guess, 5 out of the last 6 years. And 5 of those years are when Billy Gonzalez, listen, they didn't get a ton of separation last year either. But that'll be something to watch for. I think Graham Mertz, and we've said this, it's a dirty word, I don't think it should be, is a game manager. I don't know that if you force Graham Mertz to win you a game, I don't know that he can. Not saying he can't, but I don't know that he can. I think Florida got back to its identity last week and running the football. And then I think if you can get Tennessee to commit to that running game, then I think Graham Mertz does have the capability to hit a play action, hit some deeper passes. But Florida's going to have to establish the running game, something they weren't able to do against a big physical front seven in Salt Lake City.
But Nick, do you think that, okay, let's just put it on the line here. There's a minute and 59 seconds left on the clock in the fourth quarter, and Florida needs to drive the field and get in the field goal range. Is Graham Mertz right now, has he shown you that he can be the guy that can start you off at the, let's just say 20-yard line and drive you 60, 65 yards to get you set up?
We have 8 minutes. Our pace of play is slow.
Yeah.
But Graham Mertz's ability, I think, I think he could get us in field goal range.
Right.
I've seen
well, what's field goal range for Florida right now?
That's why I asked. I don't know what field goal range is for Florida.
Yeah. I don't know, but I think he get us into what normal.
You're missing 31-yarders in Salt Lake in some thin air. So, what is field goal range?
Yeah, I don't know what the special teams is like. What happens once he gets there? But I think Graham Mertz. I think Graham Mertz. Yeah, right. I think Graham Mertz is good enough to get us in position to win with a minute. I mean, the coaches, urgency, all that matters. But his skill set, I like his ball placement. The one interception he did have wasn't on it hit the receiver. Timing could have been better. That's between the chemistry and the receiver. But technically, ball hits your hands, you got to catch it, and that hit Pearsall in his hands and face mask. Ends up being an interception. But I just haven't seen him put us in bad positions. Make oops, even though there was time where this is not to compare the two, but when Kyle Trask was on his incredible run, it was a lot of dropped interceptions, and we were just like, whoa, a lot. And I'm just not seeing a risky kid that's going to turn over the ball a lot. Are we playing somewhere possibly safe? I don't know. I do want to see us stretch the field more, but those intermediate throws to move the sticks and keep a drive alive, yeah, he got that in his bag. I just want to see him stretch the field a little bit more and see the offense get more explosive. But I think our answer to that is going to be Trey Wilson this week. I think there's a lot of design stuff that they're going to have for him that we haven't seen so far. Week 1 was, his coming out party. He only got a couple touches, but he didn't start. He started last week. Every time he touches the ball, everybody's on there at the edge of their seat waiting for him to, break one. So I think he's going to be the X factor in this game. How many touches we could get him if the inside running game struggles? I think he could get on the edge and get some jet sweeps. If he gets in a position where one of your linebackers you don't feel good about and it's a one-on-one situation, I think he could take something, and grab it in space versus a linebacker, make him miss and go to the crib. So that's my overall take. I think we're going to be able to run the ball decent. We're not going to be in full-fledged form back. We'll get our center back, so that'll help us a little bit. But I think we got to get, the long bubble screens to work for us to extend the running game and also get some running out on the edge. And that'll loosen up the middle some. But I think somebody like Trey Wilson has to be the X factor this week.
I just know Nick wants Tennessee to punt about 12 times on Saturday just so he can
left
see
foot and right foot.
There you
baby.
go.
Does
Exactly.
he have a
An
dominant foot or is it,
electric playmaker. Tennessee fans are telling me his left foot's been better this year. Use both feet, same time. Show me what kind of athlete you are. Earn this Ray Guy vote this week.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I've ever noticed what leg a kicker is kicked with.
That's a good point.
Do you ever watch and be like, man, we have a lefty kicker this year. We're on.
Yeah, you got a good, man.
Tennessee's got a switch hitter this weekend. That'd be
Off-speed
fun and
kick.
interesting.
Just the most possibly the most dynamic player in college football.
Potentially, Nick.
We know who Nick's going after for the post-game interview on Saturday, period.
He's by
himself. Yeah. His family's not even there. Trey, I know you've got to run, my friend. Let everybody know where they can follow and read all your stuff.
Yeah, you can follow me on X, Twitter, whatever the hell you call it, at Trey Wallace _. Follow all my work at outkick.com. Just posted a great fun story on Mel Tucker, which is an absolute shit show in East Lansing. So just wild stuff, and look forward to being in Gainesville this weekend. So appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Trey. And we'll see you in Gainesville this weekend.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much. Trey Wallace, outkick.com.
That's my guy. Dan.
I almost called it Outcook the coverage, but it's not. It's just Outkick these days.
Just Outkick.
Yep.
Yeah, Trey's locked in. Trey's locked in there in Knoxville. He's got long family ties to the Vols. Close friend of mine.
Yeah, sure is. Let's get into the Tennessee game for you guys who got a buy and sell segment, winners and losers, or just winners this week. We're going to pick those. But before we do that, let's give a shout out to FanGo Tickets. That's FANGO tickets.com. It is a consumer first platform. So there are no fees if you are a buyer of tickets. If you have season tickets for the Gators, the Lightning, the Bucks, put them on there. You can black out the dates that you're going to that you want to make those tickets available. It's a very seamless, very easy to use process. But again, if you're going and looking for tickets for this game this weekend, go check out fangotickets.com. Again, no fees to the buyer. All prices up front are exactly what you're going to pay. So again, Jeff Pope, Florida Gator alumni, built this website, and we are trying to help him grow. So if you have season tickets, put them on. And if you're looking to buy season tickets, fangotickets.com. All right, boys, I know we talked a little bit about it, but before we get into Tennessee stuff, I want to give a shout out to those that had super chats. Chris Sorley said, Trey, can we stop with the hooker talk? People have told me that before too. You're talking Hendon Hooker. Milton and his receivers are not comparable to last year's team. It's a new season.
Relax,
hopefully we answered that question for you. And then Russell Swick. Sorry, I joined so late if it's already covered. I know Trey is not Percy, but could he be the closest one to Percy since Percy?
I said this earlier. I don't know if people took it as disrespect. I don't mean it like that. It's sarcastic. But like he is a middle class Percy. He's got a nice house in the suburbs. Gets his lattes at Starbucks. Listen, he drives a nice SUV, luxury class. Like the kid's exciting, but like Percy. We need to stop comparing people to Percy.
No, we don't.
In our generation,
you need measuring sticks. You need measuring sticks to make motherfuckers go ball. I'm sorry about the language. You need these measuring sticks to hold people accountable.
Percy was what, 6 foot 200. Trey's 5'10" in cleats, 180. But like Trey Wilson, when he touches the ball, the guy is electric. You think, okay, this could go to the house. This could be a crib call. You had that a little bit with Kadarius Toney, or probably a lot of it with Kadarius Toney, but then like who else before that? So like, yeah, he's in that same breath.
Kadarius Toney wasn't as twitched. He just could juke you and make you miss. I think, and that wasn't Percy Harvin. Wasn't no juke you guy. It was just he hit it, and his first step was crazy. I think Trey has that first step is bananas, man. Like there's no angle on him in a lot of positions, and the only thing that Trey is missing right now is Urban Meyer. I'm gonna be real with you. I think he's talent wise, just straight line speed, football savviness. He wants that ball, and he want to score every time you get it. I just think you just got to put him in the right position, and that's what Urban Meyer and Dan Mullen was good at that time, was getting Percy in the right position. He was taking wildcat touches, however they could get him the ball. It was get Percy the ball because he's just that good, and that's the only thing Trey missing right now is just get Trey the ball. But as far as skills and speed and explosiveness, that boy twitched up, man.
Yeah.
He looked shot out of a cannon.
I wrote about it this week. I mean, like, I think it was against South Carolina, maybe. Like, they just ran a counter. They lined up Percy at running back and just ran a regular counter.
Give him the ball, baby.
The house. It's like, listen, shout out to Harrison, speed in space. Just get Trey Wilson the ball. It's exciting when he has the ball in his hands.
It reminds me of what Jacquez Green posts on X or Twitter all the time, and it's one speed go. He definitely has that one speed go. I tweeted it. Haven't really seen that kind of speed in a long time. I'm excited to see what he becomes. Remember, Percy Harvin, as a freshman, was one of the top-ranked players in the country. One website had him ranked as the number one player in the country. Those expectations are very, very high. I think that Trey Wilson is about as close as the Gators have as a freshman of that first step speed that the Gators have been missing.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
I like the measuring sticks. Like, keep the measuring sticks around. Compare to these people, to the legends, because I mean that's why they're here, to be compared, and then that pushes you. If you ain't got no great ones to compare them to, then they just gonna be around thinking they the greatest. Nah, you're not, bro. Like, see if you can get as good as this guy.
I like that.
So I like the measuring sticks.
I'd be a good Instagram reel. All right, so let's get into your thoughts on the Tennessee game. Tennessee is 2-0. They beat Virginia and then Austin Peay. Didn't look great in probably either game. Pulled away from Virginia there in the second half of the third quarter and fourth quarter. Didn't look great against Austin Peay, but again, Silk, you mentioned it. Head coach Josh Heupel is probably one of, if not the best offensive coaches in college football right now. Give us kind of what you guys have seen, read about Tennessee in this game this weekend.
I like what I've seen from them. Go ahead, Nick.
I think Tennessee, kind of like Florida. I don't know that anyone, in particular on Florida's defense is going to be an all-SEC player, and I think the improvement we've talked about Florida's defense is the depth, and you're being able to rotate guys, keep guys fresh. It'll be interesting to see if they have the opportunities to rotate as much as they have, just with the pace that Tennessee runs their offense. But Tennessee's deeper. I think Tennessee's offense was terrible last year, and they've gotten deeper. They're doing the same kind of things that Florida is, keeping guys fresh.
Tennessee's offense was terrible last year?
Defense.
Oh, defense. I'm sorry.
Their defense. And obviously, as you've mentioned a couple of times now, Dan, the pace of play that Florida plays with will allow, and the way that they rotate players in and out will allow Tennessee to rotate more defensively than I think Florida will be able to against the Vols.
Something interesting, Nick. Tennessee has only had 11 more offensive plays this season than the Gators have.
They've scored more. Well, I guess you have 49 plays, long drives against McNeese. But Virginia did go and lose to James Madison. I've been told James Madison is a great program.
The Dukes.
Sure. But I don't know what to make about that win over Virginia when they turn around the following week and lose to James Madison. So I think for me, it's going to be a matchup. Can Florida run the ball? I'm getting more and more trust in Graham Mertz to not turn the ball over. Now, this is a big difference in competition. This Tennessee team is one that most people pick to finish second to Georgia in the SEC. But I'd feel good about Florida's chances. I'm interested to know, I'll ask Billy Napier later today, how do they treat these games? Do they treat these games differently? In my opinion, nameless, faceless, shut up. This is Tennessee week. It's Georgia week. It's LSU week. It's Florida State week. Those games are different than, hey, Arkansas is coming in. Even though Arkansas is an SEC opponent, you shouldn't have the same feeling. You should have some hate in your heart this week if you're in either locker room. So how do you handle this week? Is it an emphasis that it's Tennessee? And listen, I don't expect Billy Napier to say but at least privately behind closed doors. You don't need to do it in front of the microphone, behind the podium, but I think you should be treating these games, these weeks differently.
Yeah, you got to turn up the intensity a little bit. I don't know what the key to this be. I just think if we play defense, we'll be fine. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of the offense. Run game is just, I already said a lot of this, but run game is going to be super important. Establishing that. We got away from it too fast. Trey Wallace said the same thing from the Utah. That was my take. I know we was getting 5 a pop the first half, but carries of 7 and 3 between Montreal and ETN just not going to get it done. You're not going to be balanced, and we can't survive, and no team is going to survive. We said this last year with AR. He shouldn't have been throwing 40-plus passes, and damn sure Graham Mertz shouldn't be either. So we just got to be balanced on offense. Offensive line needs to protect Graham, needs to execute, needs some leadership in the offensive line with pointing out, blitzes, disguised blitzes, whatever it may be. But protection of the quarterback, controlling the turnovers is going to be super key. We need more young wide receivers to separate. I do like the what I've seen out of the receivers so far. It's gonna be curious. I think we got to watch Jaquavion Frazier. I think he only got 3 snaps this last game, so he may be on transfer watch as well. But the young wide receivers is time to grow up. We'll see what Eugene Wilson could do. I already got him as my X factor. Shamar James and Scooby Williams have just been a pair of dogs. And I think this is a game that they're going to be banking on their running game to get off this week. Joe Milton is going to struggle in that loud stadium. It's the swamp. It's going to be rocking. Second home game, rivalry. I don't think Joe Milton's built to survive a swamp in a defense that we got right now. But if Scooby Williams and Shamar come in locked in on their game like they have been week 1 and week 2, and we shut down their run game, we could get a couple interceptions and run away with this thing. But it's going to be key. We just got to take care of business. I also think the SEC East is wide open. It's a lot of teams struggling. We struggled week 1, look incompetent and a little, disorganized. But I watched Kentucky play. I watched Tennessee play. I'm watching Georgia play. This league, college football itself, it's a lot of parity. It's wide open. We just got to take care of football on our end. Grow up fast. We don't have a senior on our 3 deep on defense. That bodes well for the future. But it also puts things in perspective that we're a very young team. But they flying around, they getting to it. And give me more TJ Searcy and more Kelvin Collins early in this game. Give me that energy. I just like the energy of TJ Searcy. That's my guy right now. My favorite player on defense right now. Play the young boy.
Yeah, no, Silk, I think you hit the nail on the head. And Tom Gore said, thank you, Silk. Somebody's got to keep this stuff real. Silk has always been one of the realest. He keeps it real in the Ville.
Depends on who you're talking to.
And ill in the Ville, right? So a couple of things. I think you guys really hit all of the nails on the head there. We talked about third down defense that the Gators have been playing this year. I think that's going to be important. Tennessee's only 8 of 25. They went 3 of 12 on third down against Austin Peay. So again, making sure that you force those third down into fourth down conversions for them. And then again, in the red zone, trying to limit them. Tennessee has scored on all but 1 of the times that they've been in the red zone. So trying to keep them out of that. And then the rushing attack. Tennessee has 6 rushing touchdowns on the season. Joe Milton's numbers are relatively pedestrian for playing Virginia and Austin Peay, but their rushing attack has been solid this year. So again, Silk, you mentioned your Shamar James, your TJ Searcy's, and then this is the game that I'd really like to see a coming out party for Princely if he's going to have one. Has been pretty under the radar, did get a sack last game, but want to see a little bit more out of him. Want to see us get after Joe Milton, force him to throw the ball, because I just don't think that he's that accurate. And I don't think that if you force him to throw the ball, that Tennessee's going to win this game. But I want to see that push there. And then I want to make sure that we're not abandoning the run. Obviously, we saw Montrell Johnson have an incredible game against McNeese State. Trevor Etienne and Treon Webb had good games as well. But obviously they showed that they have that ability if you block and you allow them to get into the open field to make an impact in the game. So don't abandon that run. Make it a balanced offense. I think that Graham Mertz, Silk, I think that you made a good point. To Trey, I think they have the ability to move the ball down the field with Graham Mertz at quarterback. Now it's a matter of making sure that you keep the pace in the right spot, and that you also have that ability to go to the running backs when needed in this game. But I really do like Florida's chances. Tennessee, obviously, if you would have asked me before the season, I would have thought that Tennessee was going to probably win this game. Now you'll find out here in a few minutes what my pick is, but I'm not as bullish on Tennessee as it was before the season started.
Surprise.
Nah, not bullish on Tennessee. Are you guys ready to play a little buy or sell segment?
Bro, we need someone to come up. We have a lot of talented listeners. We need someone to come up with a buy or sell jingle for Dan. He can just push a little button and we have a buy or sell jingle. Also, there's like 200 people watching right now and like 50 likes.
Yeah, hit the
like 150 haters. That's crazy. 150 y'all just sitting in here hating like that, bro.
If all
the like is free, it don't even cost nothing.
Yeah. If everybody that's watching now hits the like button, we'll have more likes than Miami had fans this weekend against Texas A&M. Buy or sell segment.
Real quick, they were offering buy one, get one tickets. They were like, if you please buy a ticket to the Texas A&M game, we'll give you that Bethune one for free. And those Miami fans were like, nah, I'm good, homie.
Yeah, like you trying to trick me to come to Bethune. I see what you're trying to do there, bro.
I see what you're trying to do.
I got a pool party to attend, man. Watch out.
Yeah, Liv isn't going to party itself. All right, guys, buy or sell. If you have a jingle, please send it our way. Gators get 200 yards rushing. Buy or sell?
Buy.
You feeling good today, huh, Nick?
Buying that more than I'm buying Life Wallet stock. Sorry, Dan.
Hey, they just got a notice from the NASDAQ about delisting. Incredible.
Oh, no.
Who would have thought it?
You see one to your house, too? Do you got delisted? What's your job here?
I'll be a part of
hold on. With your investments, are you going to be able to pay for the hotel here today? Might need the cash up front.
I think I'll be all right.
Okay.
I think I'll be all right. So, 200 yards rushing.
That's toting it. That's toting it.
All right. And then 200.
Yeah, I'll buy it. I'm gonna buy it. That's a tough buy, but it ain't my money. I'm gonna spend it like Rudy spent it. Like he spent Dan's money.
The concern is at an all-time high, Silk. Concerns at an all-time high. I am going to sell, unfortunately.
Do you see what I've been doing, Silk? We're on a PR reversal tour. Negative Nick is no more. Now Dan.
That's because I know what the questions are going to be, Nick. So I know how to position myself in the future. All right. Gators +1 on turnover margin, which means that the Gators will have at least one more turnover than Tennessee does.
Big buy.
Sorry, I'm going to buy. Yeah. 3 buys there. 3 buys there. Are the Gators going to hold Joe Milton to under 225 yards passing? Just so you guys know, he had 212 against Virginia and 228 against Austin P.
Bye.
I hope so. Where's the Kodak?
I hope so.
I hope so. Yeah, give me. I'm buying that. I think he's gonna have some tough passing windows. If he struggled versus Virginia and James Madison, I expect Austin P. I apologize to James Madison. If he struggled with those two, I expect the windows to be a lot smaller this week with the corners that we have on the outside. And I hope Devin Moore is back and ready to play this week. I also got another DB tape before we get the next bye. I think they should find a way, even though Jaden Hill's playing well, like find a way to get one of those 3. Sharif as well. I like Sharif, the young boy, get him more reps, but him and Castell on the field at the same time creeps me out with 2 freshmen. That'll be a little scary. But I wouldn't mind seeing one of the 3 of Jalen Kimber or Devin Moore working out at the star. I think both of those guys are really good DBs, and I think they can slide inside with no problem. Instead of having one on the bench, I think
I don't know that Devin Moore's repped that in practice, but I think Kimber
should. But Kimber has?
I think
interesting.
So.
Yeah, I think we saw Kimber there a bit last year too during the season. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I bought Life Wallet. So I bought as well. The Gators, this is an offensive line question. The Gators allow 3 sacks or less. Talked about the pass rush at Tennessee.
I'm going to sell. I think I think I saw 5 against Utah. I think Tennessee is going to, hey, if we can stop the run and then we can get pressure on Graham Mertz when they get into obvious pass situations. I think Florida will get Kingsley Aguakin back this week. But I don't know that I'm ready to buy on Florida's offensive line right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm selling there as well. They got to show me. I can't be spending Ruiz money like that.
Yeah, I think we've got 3 sells on that one too. And then there's 2 Graham Mertz questions. Graham Mertz is averaging a little bit more than 70%, almost 74% on his completion rate for the season. Graham Mertz, 69% completion percentage or higher.
Nice.
Buy it.
In sync. 69%. I'm under. I think it'll be over 60. But I mean, we're talking 70% completion percentage. That's a lot of east-west throwing to get to that 70.
I think the Gators do a lot of east-west throwing, so I'm going to buy.
That's Factoroni Tony.
Yeah, Factoroni Tony.
Factoroni Tony.
And then finally, Graham Mertz, 225 yards passing or more. I'm going to buy.
Repeat that for me.
225 yards passing by Mr. Graham Mertz.
I mean, that's a lot of offense there. So we said 200 rushing. We're getting close to a 500-yard day.
Man, that sounds like the type of production you need to win an SEC game, brother.
Let's go buy.
Wow.
No one's keeping track of these this year.
I don't even know who. I don't even know who.
Track.
Oh, we lost Ben Chase, so we
lost Ben.
We lost Ben, but that's okay. We're gonna find. We'll do it ourselves. I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna buy. That's
positivity.
Factoroni Tony right there.
Positivity's feeling good on me. So, positivity's feeling good on me.
Tony right there. I like Eugene Wilson to have a 40-yard plus completion. I like the Gators to move the ball on this Tennessee defense, assuming that they can get the ball out quickly, and that's going to fall on the offensive line. Let's choose a winner on offense first. Each guy gets 1 player on offense. Who do you got? Nick? Silk, you'll start with defense.
Number 2, Montrell Johnson. I would like to be able to just make the running back call, but if you're going to make me pick just one guy, I didn't know why Montrell Johnson wasn't getting any postseason hype or preseason hype. I thought him and Trevor Etienne are kind of the same, but give me Montrell. That's your starter. I think Florida should be able to run the ball. I think Rob Sale, Darnell Stapleton, you're grabbing face masks this week and you say, listen, we have to run the ball. You've got to create lanes. You've got to make a new line of scrimmage upfield, not backfield. Give me Montrell.
So
what's the question?
Just pick an offensive player that's you think is going to be the impact player on offense.
I got my X factor is Eugene, but I'm gonna go. My roof is getting redone, man. Sorry if y'all hear that banging, but I'm gonna go Caleb Douglas. How about that one? I know Ricky Pearsall has been getting a lot of attention. You know, we talking about a lot of different players, but Caleb Douglas made some big time plays. I thought in the Utah game with some of the catches he brought down. So mark me down for Caleb Douglas. I think he has a coming out party this week.
All right, and then I'm going to go with Pretty Ricky. Defense. Silk, we'll start with you. Pick your defensive MVP. I think I already know what's going to be.
Nah, I'm going Shamar James. We got to shut down that run game. I almost went Scoops, but Shamar has been great now. I think he graded out our top defender the first 2 weeks. I think he was 84.5 or something this past week. So just give me Shamar. You know, he's running around like a superhero back there.
Yeah, safe pick. I always whenever you say his full name, I hear like that LeBron James kid, the Shamar James. I hear it like that.
That's hilarious.
That's just how my weird brain works. I'm gonna go with. I think Florida gets multiple interceptions, 2+ interceptions this week, and I think I ran into him after the game last week, and I told him exactly what you just said in the podcast. Silk, I said, my guy, you batted it down like you were on the volleyball team, spiking that thing over the net. You got to get your hands on it. I think Jakeem Jackson gets his first interception of his career this week. So I'm going to Jakeem. Ja.
I like that pick, Nick. I like that pick. But not
Nick
so
said mine
fast.
was safe. I think Shamar's it was safe, and it's gonna be
Shamar's safe. Like
right.
Shamar's safe. That'd be like if we were doing this during like the Tebow era, and you got the first pick on offense, and you're like, I'm gonna go out on a limb and take that Tebow character for my offensive player of the week this week.
That's why I almost went Scoops, but that would have been then Shamar. I go Scoops. How about that?
No, I already wrote down
You
Shamar.
went.
Hey, you can keep Shamar. It don't matter. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be right about this. So.
Well,
I can't go wrong with
Shamar.
Shamar.
Caleb's kind of
Caleb
there,
Douglas
like,
is definitely for sure.
Caleb's a good
not
pick.
that it's like a crazy pick. I think he's got a crazy ability. When I went Randy Moss week 1 at Utah, like kid's got talent. But like it's not like a Dan going safe, Ricky, me going safe, picking Montrell. So you're allowed to go safe on defense.
JB said they cloned Nick. Not used to all this positivity.
But it might be the ring.
Who cloned Nick?
It might be the ring.
All right. I'm going with I like Nick's DB pick. I wrote down Jalen Kimber for my pick. I like him to get an interception. I like the way that he's playing. I don't think that they're going to test Jason Marshall as much. I think they're going to have to test Jalen Kimber, Jakeem Jackson, that kind of side of the field. So I'm going to go Jalen Kimber. Silk, I thought you were going to go with TJ Searcy.
I don't know how many reps he's going to get.
Good point.
That's the thing with that. He's a freshman. I hope he get early reps, but if I just got to go with the number of snaps on the field, I think Shamar James will be more effective because he's going to be on the field a lot.
I like that pick. I also like that hit that Scooby had. I think it was in the second quarter. The picture perfect. All right, gentlemen, we are getting towards the end. The line right now is a little bit all over the place, so I expect these lines to bounce a bit as well. I've seen the Gators +7. I've seen the Gators +4.5. We'll split that somewhat in the middle. Let's make our own line of Gators +5.5. Nick, you taking the Gators +5.5?
Florida wins outright. So yeah, I'll take the points, but I'm taking the money line.
Who is this guy? I don't know who this is y'all brought on my show. We got a drug test or investigate. Let's send some people over to Nick's house and make sure it's
wait till Kentucky week. I'll disappoint you.
Kentucky is looking more mid than Tennessee. So you're gonna have to really figure something out here, Nick. If we beat Tennessee, I'm gonna start lying. I'm gonna be real with you.
I'm gonna start lying. I think Florida. Listen, I've watched Tennessee get real creative losing in Gainesville. I'm expecting, in my negative Nick days, like 88,000 last week. Okay, sure, Jan. I expect,
baby.
Yeah, I expect 88,000 plus in the Swamp. The Swamp is a cathedral. Mass is at 7. I think people will start their own Holy Communion around 7 a.m. Like it's going to be a rowdy crowd. Last week gave you enough to feel good about this matchup. I expect a crazy crowd. I don't think listen, this is going to be Joe Milton's first real road game. I mean, I know they played in Nashville week 1, but you're just down the road. It's a 2-hour drive. It's a whole different ball game. I like Florida to win this game. Take the points if you want, but money line pays more.
Again, this is not betting advice in real life, but up the bets, outright win. I got Florida. Of course, I'm covering the spread. I think we win at home. We'll see what's up.
What you got, Dan? Take still. I like the Gators money line too, but I'll take the 5.5. I'll take the 7. I'll take the 4.5. I like the Gators to beat Tennessee this week. Over under 58.5. Over or under.
And a half?
Over
no, 58.5 is over under total game.
Oh, I was about to say, what? They're expecting a real shootout here, bro. Something I don't know. I'll take the over.
Oh,
Nick, over. All right.
What do
Over.
you got any more? Oh, can I ask you guys a question?
That's it. That ends that segment, Silk. Oh, just
right.
quickly before we do that, before you ask her question, game is at 7:00. No, game day will not be there. Wear blue. That shouldn't be something that has to be reminded against Tennessee, but wear blue against Tennessee. So, your question.
Oh, people are coming at me. I said I was like, hey, just like letting you know, Florida said to wear blue. I was like, it hasn't really worked in the past, and people were like, well, they don't do it. Like getting defensive about it. I'm like, listen, dude. You watched on TV or you were in the stands. Like it didn't work when they said to wear white last week. Like I'm not opining anything, but to me, intuitive. When Kentucky's in Gainesville, you wear orange or you wear white. You don't wear blue. When Tennessee's in Gainesville, you wear blue or you wear white. You don't wear orange. Like that's just intuitive to me. So they have done it well in the past. That South Carolina game is the first one I remember. I think that was 2010. The blue out they had. Shout out to Arrested Development.
We just want everybody color coded, so if things go array, you don't get beat up. You know, like you're in the right colors. You know, if you're in orange, we see you from behind. We start mugging Tennessee fans. We thinking, then, oh man, it's one of our own.
No friendly fire.
Yeah, no friendly fire if you got on blue. So y'all wear blue.
All right. So you got a question?
What goes wrong if for us to like? What does Tennessee have to do to win? That's what I want to ask y'all. Like, what do we do wrong? How do we lose this game?
You're gonna lose the turnover battle. Which Graham Mertz only had one interception, but hasn't even really had too many close calls. Interceptions were a big problem last year. So if Florida can't run the ball, and you get behind the sticks, and you get into obvious passing situations, how does Graham Mertz do throwing under pressure? Does he start to put too much on himself? His first SEC game as well. It's going to be a great crowd. They'll be quiet when he's on the field at least. But what does Graham Mertz do if it gets into a situation where Tennessee's winning and now they've won, or winning on the scoreboard and winning in their game plan, forcing Graham Mertz to win a game with his arm? If Florida loses the turnover battle, if Graham Mertz has a couple interceptions, I just don't think Florida, one, is built to come from behind, and two, not built to, withstand losing a turnover battle and winning a game.
I think that's good. I think it really rests on the offensive line. We saw a big improvement last week, but we have to see that continued improvement and maturation of that offensive line. You get Kingsley Aguakin back, that certainly helps. But I think that this game, both running the ball and passing the ball, so reliant on them not being turnstiles. We saw it against Utah that they just didn't look very good. Hopefully with that continued coaching and improvement, they look better. But if that offensive line isn't able to protect and the rest of the offense can't operate, and that's how Florida shoots itself in the foot this game.
Yeah, I think running the ball is super important. If we can't get the run game off, I think it can get a little weird. As every game we've seen Billy coach when we haven't been able to run the ball and we're throwing the ball 40 times a game, this is not a winning formula. And again, I think scoring first, playing with a lead, the defense plays different. The time of the games, like playing with a lead, the way the new time is set up is beneficial to have a lead and play with a lead, especially when we taking our sweet ass time as far as time management. So I think the time management is going to be very key to all of this. Scoring first, and then if you're playing with a lead, that urgency is a little bit different. And I don't think Billy's in a hurry to do anything. So I want the lead. I think that's very important.
I like that. Gentlemen, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, I don't got no more thoughts, man. Find us this weekend. Hit my DMs up if you're in town for the Tennessee game. We shooting our vlog. If you haven't checked it out, check the Roll Up Networks page as well. We have a vlog from Miami, vlogs from Florida State. This is going to be our Gator vlog this week. We'll share it on Stadium and Gale, and also the Roll Up page, so you can check those out. But we're gonna be in town. I think Randy Russell's riding up with me, so me and him will be in town together. It'll be some more Gators that I'm linking up with. We'll see if we can link up with Jinx. He's gonna be in town. Jack Rabbit. So we're gonna be vibing a little bit. Make the visual. We shooting 4K. Shout out to my guy Lion. We trying to get off of the screen yard and do more things in person and engage with the fans and the community. So find us.
Yeah,
That's
please
it.
do. Yeah, Silk mentioned it. We will let you guys know where we're at. But please hit us up on Twitter or Instagram if you're looking for us. We are going to be there. We're going to be there for a long time on Saturday before the game starts, and would love to meet as many of you as possible. And finally, if you are going to Gainesville, please go swing by Alumni Hall. Go visit them on Archer Road right after you get off of 75. Go visit them. Latest and greatest in all Florida Gators wear, apparel, accessories, grilling accessories, all that kind of fun stuff that you might need for your tailgate. Or if you are looking for a blue shirt, because maybe you only have an orange shirt, that's okay. Alumni Hall will have one for you in stock. Go check them out on Archer Road or alumnihall.com. And we will see you guys at the same corner, same time next week. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, buy from the sponsors here. And we'll see you guys next week.
You get a song?
Oh, yeah. Song of the week.
It was me last week.
So I guess it's me.
Let's
Let's
you almost
see.
skipped the try, bro. I should have just let you skip the try. You know?
Oh, man. No. Tyler Childers put out a new album this weekend, which everybody I know was on pins and needles waiting for. So we'll go with Tyler Childers' new song called Rustin' in the Rain. So we'll see you guys at the same corner, same time next week. And find us at a tailgate.
Go Gators.